If the weekend's over, that means it must be
Magic Monday.
Here we are. Hi, Christine.
Hey, Lorna. Happy Magic Monday, everybody.
Yes. Welcome to a new week and a new topic.
Good one. Good one today.
Yeah, we're talking about, the title was kicking your own ass. We're actually, what we mean by that is talking about discipline versus something else that we'd like to suggest, which is commitment. So let's just dive in and talk about, kind of what, historically what we believe needs to happen if we're going to have a change in our lives. And that's to have discipline, right?
Yeah. So, maybe take a moment to reflect and notice if you find yourself thinking or saying things like, oh, if I only had more discipline, right? If I was just more disciplined, I'd be able to get up and do more exercise or stick to my eating plan or save more money or be more organized. If I only had more discipline, right? I just need to be more disciplined.
If I could just stick to it, I know I used to be able to do it. There was a time in my life when I could really stick to anything I put my mind to. And ask yourself, is that your mentality? And also, more importantly, is that working for you?
Right. Is it the reason that we kind of blame into not having what we say we want when it comes to our goal setting or what we want to accomplish in life or what we want to have better experiences around, right? Is it kind of on us to be more disciplined? And we want to kind of invite you to kind of relax around this concept. I don't know about you, but when we came up with this topic, I started to think about the word discipline. It just conjures up not so great feelings.
Right.
It feels rigid.
Yes, I think that's what we want to offer here. The discipline gives you a really rigid, militaristic, has to be hard, you have to, it's almost like it's complete sacrifice, right? It's, I have to let go of all of these other things so that I can have this thing.
Yeah, there's implied suffering, really, right?
Yeah. Yes. And is there any wonder that even if it did work at some point, that it's probably not working anymore?
Right. It seems really short-lived, right? It kind of is this sort of yo-yo. It's it's what's part of yo-yo dieting and all of that, right? It's the relationship that we have with ourselves as characterized by discipline is not a very friendly one.
Right.
It's actually a form of self-attack in many ways.
Yes. And if you can do it, it is only for a short period of time, right? So why do you lose the weight and then gain it back? Or why do you lose the weight, for your wedding? Or do you get in shape for the marathon and then it all goes to pot, right? Because yes, you had a goal and you may have actually hit that goal, but then what, right? Because that's not your whole life. And I think that the goal is about being able to maintain it too.
So what's the shift that we're going to explore here that maybe allows us to revision that relationship that we have to what we want to change in our lives or the outcome that we want to create through this lens of maybe something other than discipline? And I think, so Lorna, we mentioned a nice word to kind of contrast that is this concept of commitment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And when you think of discipline, discipline is a should, it's a have to, it's a must. Commitment, on the other hand, is a want to.
It's a sacredness to it, right? A sacred wanting.
Yes.
Think about the word commitment in a second, right? We don't commit, and we use the word commitment ceremonies. We use, wedding vows as commitments, right? Commitments to being, in relationship with people that we love. Commitments are, by definition, something that are going to, kind of go with their, they're going to be maintained regardless of what's going on externally. Even when things get hard, even when things get uncomfortable and out of routine, our commitments are solid, right?
You come back to because you've made a choice. Because for whatever reason, that this is what you want in your life.
Yes.
And there's a trust there and there's a knowing. And that just feels, I don't know about you, Christine, but that feels a lot different than discipline.
Well, it's knowing that we are worthy of this kind of sort of sacred promise to ourselves. It's done actually out of a deserving versus a you're wrong and need to be controlled mentality, right? Which is what discipline is in contrast in many ways. A commitment to living a healthy lifestyle implicitly says, because I believe I'm worthy to have a healthy lifestyle. Not I have to, should, supposed to, my doctor said I have to, right? But because you made peace, there's a more of a peaceful, friendly quality to you having what you want being your divine right? Something you are absolutely worthy of and are willing to go the distance, if you will, right?
Yeah. And one of the things we want to point out is that sometimes, and I'll say that this is the way it worked for me. So both with healthy eating and with exercise, there was a time when I was disciplined. There was a time when I counted every calorie and, went on Facebook and told everyone I had been at the gym 5 days that week, because when I started, I didn't have that trust in myself. I did need it to be a little bit more rote. But then I recognized that I was kicking my own ass. And so it gradually turned into something that I trust, and that now I know that I'm never going to not exercise because I like to move my body. It makes me feel good, right? When I eat, and it's not that I don't eat too much sometimes. Of course I do. And of course I put on weight, but then I catch it because, again, I care about me and I care about how I feel. And so it's not discipline anymore. It is commitment.
Yeah. So an underlying respect goes with things that we commit to or people we commit to, right? So the commitment we're talking about is not a commitment to the goal anymore, but ultimately a commitment to ourselves. And that's a huge difference. When we're disciplined, our energy and attention goes on the doing, the action, the should and the supposed to get this done, right? Again, a slight, kind of twist on it, but a significant one. When we commit to something, we can say we commit to be more organized, commit to, doing more healthy, meal prep, but really the commitment underlying any actions surrounding those outcomes is to ourselves, right? Which goes with a trust, which goes with a friendly quality once again, and that's just so different. And remember, we're always saying, Lorna, how we feel is everything, right? So many times when we are using the fist of discipline to get things done, we get worn out. I mean, it works until it doesn't work. And then it's like, oh my God, how many people out there are, well, I'm either really on or really good, right? Or really off and really bad, right? It's this all or nothing. Because people I always say are like rubber bands. We stretch and we stretch and we stretch and we can stretch pretty good. But ultimately we will snap back because it's not the right attention and focus, right? Commitment really is again, I get the feeling of like, oh yeah, it's quiet, it's strong, there's a confidence in it, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it's compassion. It's caring about ourselves. It's loving ourselves. It's all connected. And so how can you move from kicking your own ass to being compassionate with yourself and to and all of this work, it's always about the mindset. It's always about the thought process of how we're approaching things. And how could you do this differently? How can you switch from discipline into commitment? And how different would that make things for you?
Yeah. So notice the shift that you feel actually in your body when you start taking the steps closer to whatever it is that you want to accomplish through the lens of commitment. When you feel supported and that you can trust yourself and that you have your own back, and that, you will stumble, but ultimately that underlying commitment is to be okay with where you are and give yourself the resilience to keep going. That changes everything. That changes how you move through all those tough moments, right? Which is really what we want, right? When things are easy, I'm good, right? But when things get a little bit more rocking, we go a little sideways, again, self-discipline is not necessarily the thing that's going to get you back on track.
Right. So it is. So ladies, please think about this. Please, give us some comments, talk about, how this might work for you or how you might want to change something. We'd love to hear from you. And until then, we will see you next week.
All right. Have a great one.
Take care.
Bye-bye.